Welcome to the Simply Be Found Huddle with Dean and Rob, the co-founders of simplybefound.com. How are you doing this morning, Dean?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing really well.
Good, good.
I want to kind of talk about some stuff today because there's some questions that have came up, and I want to know your opinion on it.
Okay,
Inside of the world of social media, do
okay.
you think that every business should be inside of social media?
In some way or some respect, I think everybody should be there somehow. I mean, whether it's just one platform or not, I think everybody should be there because it's going to give you an extra value to help your business to give that content and some other readability for people. You may not have followers, but I think you need to be there putting your information out, especially with the way the new algorithms work.
Now that's different than how you felt 5 years ago before we started this whole project, and you've seen everything because you really fought me when you were a client of mine, for your other business before we even started this one. You really fought me on social media. So what has changed?
Well, I think what's changed is the way people are finding us now. Before when I first looked at social media, I thought it was just a platform for people to talk about just random stuff, and I didn't see a value to it. I guess that's the key is I did not see a value to it. But now I'm starting to see more of a value as I'm seeing how everything's working, especially with the advent of AI searches and the way the algorithms are picking things up now. I think having something out there, even if even like I said, even if it's just one platform you like, I think it's just important to have yourself out and putting out content about yourself. I think the biggest problem is I don't spend time just talking about my family or my trips and things like that, and that's way a lot of like I'm gonna just throw out the word Facebook because that's the one social media I was on, and I felt that it was more of a social thing of just talking about. But then I realized the value of the talking about your business piece on there. That's what's changed for me.
Well, I think there's a huge amount of peace there, and I think there's a lot of stuff that could be inside of that area. If social media really helps your voice search, it helps put content out there. It follows those three pillars, so content, authority, and trust, and it really kind of brings those all the way up. Sorry, allergy season.
I know. I feel it. I feel
Man,
your pain. I feel
but
your pain.
it's one of those things to where you have that content, that authority, that trust side that's really big and that's really inside of there. So it brings it up. Now, it depends on your industry for how often you should be posting. If you're B2C, which is business to consumer, if you're B2B, which is business to business, it's going to change. And it also depends on what kind of content you have when it comes to social media. I think a lot of people get really hung up because they think it's going to be a time sink. And really, I don't see it as being a time sink, especially if they're using the social media suite inside of there. Can you talk about what your thoughts and what you've learned when it comes to how much time and how much posting you recommend?
You know what? I like to try to post. Unfortunately I'm the Culver's kid when it comes to this a little bit. We simply we found posts. I think we post almost daily now.
We do.
Our team's posting daily.
We post 8 to 10 times daily, actually.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember, but we hit all the platforms with our social media suite. We hit LinkedIn, we hit Instagram, we hit Facebook, we hit. I'm just trying to think of the other one, but we have LinkedIn, we have yours and my profiles,
right.
and
Pinterest, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, pretty much all the social media
and we
networks.
run X as well, or
yeah.
formerly Twitter, kind of thing. But what I find, I try, like I said, we try to post. I think that most businesses should at least try to post once a day, depending on their, at least, and try to put it out there so it's consistent. If you can't post daily, I think there's a consistency pattern. So, like if you're going to put information out on Mondays, try to always put it out on Mondays. I think the algorithms like that. I think from our studies, from our science data team, are saying that they're seeing better results for reactions if it's consistent. And did you get that from them as well?
When I'm looking at numbers and I'm talking to them, we talk about this all the time. So you have businesses that fit into a couple different sections. You have a business that fits into the section where it is they don't have much time to be able to do it, but they go through and they schedule out 1 to 3 posts per week. So at least something went out for that week to keep those active.
Right.
And it really depends on how much content they're putting out. Now, if you want to get the most out of it, there's a lot of industries that posting daily is going to be good. If you're B2B, you're going to be posted multiple times a day. Depends on what the value is on what you're putting out. So if you're following the entire principle that we talk about, where either you talk to your AI or you do the video and you break out social media based on projects you've done or problems you've solved in your business, then posting daily really isn't a problem, because a lot of times you're sending that over to either your front desk person, your office admin, someone inside of some kind of EA or VA inside of your entire ecosystem to be able to get those things scheduled for you and done. Or you're logging in and be able to do it. But you can post out to absolutely everywhere using the social media suite, which makes that time process a lot smoother.
Right. So one of the other things that I've run into with some of our members is they're being advised by people saying, don't go to this network because that doesn't reach your clientele, or that only young people do that, and you're not really talking to young people. I'm finding that is not true. I mean, we did some deep dives into users and age groups and things like that, and every one of them depends on how you like to communicate. I mean, we see the bell curve and everything like that, but somebody said don't use Instagram because that's just for. I'm trying to remember now. That was a good conversation. Now I can't remember what. Then I argued with the members, and no, you want to be pushing out to Instagram as well. They said, well, we don't feel there's a value there, and I think you don't know where your customer base is going to be looking and what how they're checking things out. So that's why the more than one platform is better. But don't think that just because X is X is one of the biggest. Yeah, I mean, I see more business people on X now than ever before, and so yeah,
but it's no different than going fishing, Dean. If you go fishing and you put that bait out there, you can put the same bait over and over, and if you're not getting anything, you want to change it. Well, if there's a couple different things that you can do inside of social media marketing. You can go out and you can change it for every single platform for it's a different message and make sure it hits that right target market. And you can overthink the living hell out of it and go through and do that, which is going to be more time consuming. They'll be doing the same approach as Buying Back Time by Gary Vee, which is an awesome book too if you've never read it. But so you can change each of those platforms up. Or if you only have time to do one post, send the same post out to each of the platforms. Right. And the same information out to all of them, because you might catch something.
Exactly. And, the thing is the message may change based on the where you're sending it to, just a little bit. It's more the length of content is the biggest issue on some of them, because some of them only allow, I don't know, 40 characters, 50 characters on some of them.
I think Twitter right now is or X is 120 or 140.
Yeah, so it's not much.
But I mean, it's one of those things. You have that, but if you have a different audience type of what they're on those social media channels for, is what Gary Vee goes into for that book. Is he dives into, you have a different personality. When someone's on Twitter, they're looking for different information than when they're on LinkedIn or when they're on Facebook. It's a different mindset. So you have to take that into consideration if you're going to do it really well. But if you don't have time to do that, getting something out is going to be better than not getting anything at all.
Right. And the other thing I always recommend is try to put some kind of an image with your content. I think that helps attract. I mean, I think it's more one of those things. It's a visual attraction. But if you don't have time for it, it's still better to have some content going out there that's talking about your business than not. I mean, so don't not put out information because you don't have a good image, if you will, or a visual. You still need to be putting that content out there daily. And I think some businesses go, well, I didn't put the featured image on there, is what we call it. And they just don't do anything. They kind of freeze. And that's what you got to be careful is not to freeze your business or freeze your content going out.
I think that's a huge aspect and a huge part is you don't want to have that, deer in headlights type of approach. It's a matter of just getting consistent and being able to do what you're working on to be able to get it out there. Having the image is going to be really good. talking about the problems you solve is going to solve the AEO piece, and which is answer engine optimization. It's going to solve that piece out. And if you don't know what to say, and you have the social media suite, you can contact us and we'll tell you exactly what you need to do. And we'll even provide some suggested posts,
Exactly.
because that's what we're here for. And I think that's kind of a hidden gem that a lot of people don't even realize they get with the coaching piece.
Exactly. And the other thing too is that with AI, with the artificial intelligence engines and platforms that are out there, you can generate information pretty easy. And you also find that some of those AIs will even produce an image for you, kind of thing
Well,
as well.
they don't. I don't think they do that good. I mean, Mid
So,
Journey is probably the best for doing it so far. Dolly does okay, as long as she doesn't have words. If she has words, she's horrible.
oh yeah, yeah,
But I
no,
mean, AI's. I think you're going to see a lot of that. But I mean, take a picture of what project you're working on. Doesn't have to. I mean, if you're a contractor, it doesn't have to be the whole house or disclose anybody's information. But take a picture of it. I was advising last week in the social media world a landscaper that does primarily irrigation. So they're a sprinkler contractor, and I was like, take a picture of every hole before when you start, and do a before and after.
and it's funny because we had that one contractor that did sprinklers, and they said we dug this up, and here's a root problem we have. Now you have to think about, okay, what do we do? And they worked through the whole process that they talked about so they really discussed the whole thing as, yes, you have roots that pinch the sprinkler line, but do you cut those roots? And it gets into another discipline of what's good or not good, but they talk about the solution so you don't damage somebody's tree, those kinds of things, and so that. But they talked about the situation, and they didn't give an address, but they talked about where it happened, which was kind of outside their service area a little bit, and it gave it value to say, hey, we do other things in other places as well.
Well, I mean, that the sprinkler guy I'm talking about, I mean, they did it over the weekend. They had more engagement than they ever have off of 3 videos that they posted. So, I
Okay.
mean, you're going to see a lot more increase there. They took a picture, and they had the picture to be able to use for the marketing, did a post on it. Then they did a video as well, and they showed the leak as all the water coming out of there, and was talking about, what they were going to do and how they were going to fix it, and how they properly go through and do it. I think he was talking about how they put pea gravel below it and do all this different stuff, and they change out that kind of manifold. But I mean, it's one of those things to where he got to talk about the business. So now when someone does a search inside of Google, voice search, AI, Bing, wherever they do that search, that content's out there. Because what he did is he put that on his website instead of his blog, even though it was nice and short. Has a video, has what he put into the post, did a small little blog about it, and then also had the social media post that was doing it. You're causing a connection to be able to come between each of
Right.
those, which then allows your content all to work together to achieve your goals that you're looking for.
Right. And you talked about the blog. That's what we're talking about, full circle with the whole thing, because the blogs are going to add value. It's going to add content to your website as well.
It is.
Now, so let's kind of talk about that for a second. I know I've been digressing a little bit from the social media thing, but let's say they don't have really a blog section in their website. Can you still produce that and have it just not visible and it's still in there, correct?
That's a loaded question, man.
Yeah.
I mean, did they design their website on Wix, GoDaddy? Is it on WordPress? Is it on what builder did they use? I mean, I can't really answer that question. If you're stuck on what the blog piece is, contact us and let us know what you have, because how you answer that is completely different, and how the SEO is going to be. I mean, that's a major loaded question that we really can't cover.
I plan that to be a loaded question because we get people that say, they get really hung up on some of that stuff. And
Right.
and it really depends on where your website is, where it lives, if you will.
I mean, and blogging is no different than using a word processor. If your website is on a WordPress site, so I mean, it makes it simple to go through and do. Creating that blog page takes a little bit of time to go through and make it look good, unless you're just going to stack all of it up and make it just generic. But I mean, it's not hard to do that side. I have a video that we posted, I believe, on how to be able to do it inside of WordPress.
But
But it's all a matter of, did it use Elementor? Did it not use Elementor? And there's certain ones that we have some videos on. So if you're a member and you're lost on being able to do a blog, we do have those videos. I don't think they're all shared, but they'll definitely let us know that you want access to that, or we could walk you through those troubleshooting tips of how to get that blog on there, because a blog is super important.
Right. And I know I kind of deviated away from your social media, but the problem is they're all it's right back to the thing. I mean,
right.
We talk about it. It's all interconnected. It's always interconnected, and it because of the way the algorithms work and the AI searches and the answer engine optimization, the search engine, all these engine optimization pieces. It changes, but it's all tied together. I mean,
It is.
It connects to each other, if you will.
It's one great big huge ecosystem. I mean, when you look at that tree concept, I mean, I know we talk about it a lot, but you have that organic piece, you have your website as the trunk, and then you have your branches. All those branches talk. So your blog, your social media, your email marketing, your pay-per-click, all that stuff all talks to be able to bring you your ecosystem in. And social media is definitely one big piece of that. And it really ties into the blog piece as well, to where when you bring those two together, you can accomplish some really awesome things, because that gives you backlinks and talks back and forth, and you drive traffic. Because 99% of all businesses have a traffic problem. They don't have a website problem. They don't have a story. Well, some of them have story problems and website problems, but for the most part, most of them don't have traffic coming to their business. Right. And if you're not sending any kind of traffic to your website, you're not going to convert. If you're not having traffic see your site, you're not getting phone calls, you're not getting enough leads and all that stuff. That ends up being a major problem. I've always referred to that as it's like the field of dreams. You could build this amazing website, but I'm sorry, it's not the field of dreams. It's not. I mean, if you build it, they're not going to come. You're going to have to drive that traffic. And that's exactly what our listings engine does from simplybefound.com. That's what our social media suite does, is it helps you be able to put the tools in place to be able to drive traffic to your actual site.
Right. And, let's go back to the social media piece where you said you're trying to get traction on it. One of the things that happens are interaction. If somebody comments on there, you need to make sure you comment back. I mean,
I have mixed feelings on that.
You do? I know the old school where if you don't comment, it makes it look like you're not an active business. Is that not the same anymore?
Yes, no, and kind of in between. Depends on the comment. I mean, I like to respond back to comments as long as they're nice comments. If I looked at our YouTube comments, there's times I reject some of those comments. Like I had one this morning saying I should go hang myself. I mean, I'm gonna reject that out. I'm not going to comment back to it. It's not like a review on any of your social media that if you don't respond to, it's going to hurt you necessarily. But it's good to respond because somebody else could respond to it, and it could be the wrong response. And you want to make sure you're there. So yes, I think you should respond. If you don't have time for it and you're not going to do it right away, it's not the same value as a review would be.
Gotcha. And the other thing that happens too, you get a lot of salespeople that are trying to sell to your business, and those are not. They may be comments, but they're not comments you need to respond to.
Correct. I mean, we get a lot of that with ours. We get that on the social media networks that we manage. I mean, there's lots of salespeople that use comments, and that's because there's tools out there that will actually go through and monitor for certain things to be said, and then it'll do an auto comment back to it. And they do it inside of automation. They didn't really even look at your page.
Oh, gotcha. So it's kind of like a crawler or a bot.
It's a bot. Thing. Yeah. Yep. It's a bot that comes through and scrolls it out. But I mean, so social media, don't make it complicated. Make it simple. Kind of put it all the way into one spot and just kind of make sure that you're actually going through the process to do it. And if it seems like it's complicated to you, definitely reach out to us as a coach. If you're a member, we'd love to help you be able to put your social media into a better place and be able to get you out there, because I think it's really important for businesses.
I agree. And so one of the things, where would you say for somebody to start? I mean, I know where I started. I started with the Facebook world.
I'd start with all of them. I mean, yeah. it takes less than 15 minutes to create each account. So if you're going to take the time to post somewhere, why wouldn't you post out everywhere?
I got you. Okay. No, I just wanted you to say that. So thank you for verifying that one, Rob. That so Rob and I we agree and we disagree sometimes, and but there's certain things that we just need to bring out to you to make sure that you're aware of it
Right.
in our conversations. So
And that's instead of us having these conversations, it's why we started the huddle, to be able to have these conversations, because we think it's going to bring value to the business world. And if you enjoyed this, make sure you like it. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can listen to our huddle on almost every single podcast network out there, or you can listen to it on our website or from our YouTube channel if you want to see our pretty faces every day, or our ugly faces, I guess I would say. See my nervous twitches and everything else. But thank you for listening, and don't let social media be something that is scary, because it's not. It's a matter of making it simple, and that's what we try to do, is produce tools that'll actually make things simple for you to market your business. My name is Rob. I'm one of the co-founders.
I'm Dean, the other guy, and I'm the other co-founder. So anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thank you.